divorce court, child support, Lou Dort. Lakers in 5. We got that. We got Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
All right, so boom. We back with the second episode. I told you I'm coming back with basketball. This is the basketball episode. We're talking all about the play-ins, the playoffs, and everything in between. I'm going to do not a full recap of the year. I'm just going to do a little recap of the year to let people know where we at, and then we're going to go into the playoffs, and then I'm going to do some game predictions because as of today, April 18th, this is the Friday, we have the final play-ins of this year that lead into the playoffs. So I'm going to talk about that. Make some predictions on the plans. I'm making some predictions on the first playoff games that will be tomorrow. So, like I said, get some food, get some drinks. Let's get started. Again, you see me looking down? I'm a journalist. I'm just claiming now. I'm a journalist. I have my notes in front of me. I have the playoff bracket, and I'm going to put it on the screen again, right there, or behind me, or wherever. We're going to figure out where it goes. But to get started, we got some breaking news right before the play-in started, and that was the Denver Nuggets fired their head coach. Now, there's no rhyme or reason to why they did this. I don't know. They fired their coach Michael Malone. Like he led the Nuggets to the last championship that they won, which was I think in 2023 or 2022, somewhere around there. But they've been to the playoffs every year. No one knows the reasoning why. It was actually a big shock because they were like, bro, had a championship, went to the playoffs, like what's happening? Some people are saying it's some drama between the players and the coach, but we don't know. But for right now, we have an interim coach for the Denver Nuggets, which is David Adelman, and we'll see how he does for the playoffs because they do have a game tomorrow. Also, we had a new Memphis Grizzly coach. They got the old Memphis Grizzly coach got fired. I want to say like a couple weeks prior to this, but it was mid-season. The old coach was Taylor Jenkins. Again, led the Grizzlies to I think a few playoff seasons. I don't know. He didn't have any major problems, but maybe they just wanted a real push for the championship. So they got someone new, Tomas Isalo. If I did mispronounce your name, I am so sorry. Anywho, we're also going to talk about the trades. So there were some big trades. And if you've seen my TikTok, which is Sid the Kid on TikTok, follow it. I do quick snippets of any breaking news for both Formula One and basketball. And I talked about the Luka trade because that Luka trade came out of nowhere. Everybody was shocked. The Mavs were shocked. The Lakers were shocked. Everyone was like looking at them crazy like.
It's been a while. It's the F1 off season. So I thought I'd talk about something a little more relevant with the trade deadline coming up. Something that was in the news. This trade. What were they thinking? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what were the Mavs thinking when they were like, yeah, let's trade the face of our entire team, the team that we've been building around, that we got Kyrie for, that we got Clay for. Let's just trade him to the Lakers for AD. Let's talk about it because it didn't make no sense. I heard so many different theories, so many things trickling down from all the timelines. I heard let's go through the theories. The first one, they didn't want to pay him some like $300 million deal. I don't know if there was a cap. I don't know if they just didn't think he was worth it. I have no idea. I heard that was one reason. I heard that he also wasn't in shape. People were saying like, yeah, he don't come into the season in shape. He doesn't prepare for the season. He just warms up to the season and plays and like gets in shape as he goes. And so get him a better trainer. I don't know what that was either. There was that whole thing, and they were saying that's the reason why he wasn't, getting that $300 million deal. They were saying because of this new injury, maybe they know something that, most people don't, and they know like he's not going to be healthy for the rest of his career. Who knows, whatever. And they were like, yeah, let's just trade him now. What was the third thing I heard? I heard that the Lakers actually wanted him to build the franchise around him at the Lakers. Being that LeBron's contract is up in like a year or two, they were like, oh yeah, let's just get Luka. We're going to build a team around him here, blasey blasey. What I didn't hear though, and this is my personal, just a little tidbit. It's not really a theory, it's just something I was like, it would be interesting. What if, because everybody's talking about, oh, they were so surprised. Everybody, the coaches were surprised. LeBron surprised. Everybody, Kyrie surprised. Everybody's surprised about this trade. Luka surprised. But what if what if LeBron has some talks and it was like, hey, you know that I'm about to leave and retire. I already had my son be put on the team so I could play with my son. We love that. Cool. We love breaking records. But what if I could also get a ring with my son? Now, hear me out. It's a very far fetched chance. But what if he was like, all we need is Luka? I just need one other person, one other top player, and we'll be golden together.
So Luka gets traded to the Lakers from the Mavs. No warning, no lead up, no build up. It was just straight plastered. So now everyone's looking at the Lakers like, oh, this might be a good trade, like Luka and LeBron. This is looking like a good pairing. And other people are like, oh, I don't know. They're both ball handlers. How's the power dynamics going to work? Looking pretty well. They secured, I think, fourth. Let me check. Third. They secured third in the playoff bracket, so not too bad. They also traded off Anthony Davis. They traded off Anthony Davis for Luka and like a couple other players that are key to the whole triangle trade that they did. But those are the two main people that were like, everyone was taken aback. So basically, now people are trying to figure out what's a good trade, what's not a good trade. The Mavs are currently in the ninth seed, and they're playing tonight actually. And the Mavs look good. Like, they actually don't look that bad without Luka, but it's still like you traded your star player without any warning. So that was like a major kind of news thing back in February. So now we're trying to see during the playoffs, during the play-in, how these teams are playing with their different stars. Next, we also have Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors. Now that was not a shock. Not because of like the team, because the shock was the team. Like, no one knew where Jimmy Butler was going. But Jimmy Butler wanted out of Miami Heat for months now. He was like, he hated it over there. Like, he was sad and like not going to practice, not playing in games. He did everything but hold up the damn middle finger to the entire Heat Nation. Like, it was bad. So he got traded to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, who was like a key kind of player for the Golden State Warriors. He wasn't a star, but he was like a really good defender, really good offensively, key player for their last like 4 championships. So they traded him for Butler, which is like pretty even trade, I would say. Like, it's working out for them again. They made it to the 7th play-in game, and then they just beat the Memphis Grizzlies this week. So now they will be playing the 2nd seed Rockets next week for the playoffs. So it's not looking too bad for the Golden State Warriors. They're not looking like they're probably going to chip this year, but they're not looking too bad. And Andrew Wiggins looks good on the Heat. They played really well this past week, so they're actually moved up from their 9th seed, and they're now playing the Hawks tonight for their play-in game. So things are looking up, and that's what we have kind of in the trades so far. So we're going to do a quick recaps of these games, and then I'm going to go into predictions. So the recaps of the game this week, I'm going to start with Golden State Warriors and Memphis. Their game was pretty good. It was a tight game. Everyone was kind of watching that game as a tight game. It was Memphis was up for a minute, and then Golden State Warriors was up for a while. Morant did this nasty glass alley-oop, off the glass alley-oop to himself, which was fire. Steph Curry does what Steph Curry does, shooting from the logo. However, that final like 5 seconds of that game, I didn't like that. Why? Because the final score was basically decided by a 5-second inbound penalty. So basically, if you're inbounding the ball, you have 5 seconds to do it. If you don't, you get a penalty. Which I get. They're holding on their players, like they're trying to make they're defensively, like Golden State was doing their job. But like, that call was just really weird. Also, during that call, JP3, like Gary Payton III, was holding Morant for dear life. And the refs didn't see it. And I was like, so y'all gonna call the 5-second inbound penalty, but you don't see JP3 just embracing John Morant, like had him damn near in the full Nelson, like was holding him for dear life. I said, this is crazy. Like, they should have just gone foul for foul and then restarted the inbound. But hey, I'm not a ref. I don't even play basketball. I'm just talking shit. So we move on. Like I said, Golden State Warriors win that one. Memphis is now playing Dallas Mavericks tonight, so that's going to be an interesting game. The next game is the Hawks and the Magic. Now, I watched this game highlights last night. I'm just going to say this. It was boring. I fell asleep. And then I tried to watch it again this morning. Almost fell asleep again. There was nothing magical about the Hawks and Magic game. It was just boring to me. The Magic won, and we move. Heat versus Chicago. That game was pretty interesting. It was good to see Wiggins playing the Heat because, like I said, I haven't really been watching it since I was like, this is boring until the playoffs start. So the Heat versus Chicago was a good game. No real highlights that I saw from like the actual highlights, but other than wanting to see how Wiggins was playing, the Heat beat the Bulls, and so the Heat now go on to play the Atlanta Hawks tonight. So we'll see how that game goes. And then last but not least was the Mavs versus the Sacramento Kings. So that game was really good. The PJ and Clay were on fire. PJ Washington and Clay was going back to back bar for bar. It was playing fire. Davis got blocked twice in the fourth quarter. Looked crazy. But Davis was also playing well, so I'm not gonna like frown on him. Anthony Davis was also playing pretty well. Long story short, the Mavs won, and then the Mavs are playing Memphis tonight. So I've been kind of mentioning those games a lot because I'm trying to go through everything. But just make sure you know what's going on, and I'm making sure I know what's going on. So now we're gonna have some predictions. I'm gonna make some predictions for tonight because we have 2 games tonight, and then I'm gonna make predictions for tomorrow because there are 4 playoff games tomorrow. So I'm saying we're back. Basketball is back finally. Anywho, so my prediction for tonight for the Mavs versus Memphis, I think Mavs beat Memphis. I'm not gonna lie to you. The only way Memphis beats the Mavs, and hear me out, it's gonna sound crazy, if Ja doesn't play, right? So Ja came out the game kind of late, or there was some whispers about him having an ankle injury after the Golden State Warriors game. So he's questionable to play tonight. Now, back when he was out for like a couple weeks during the regular season, the Memphis Grizzlies actually had a better winning streak than when he was playing in the game. So I think that if he doesn't play tonight, Memphis Grizzlies win. But if he does play tonight, unfortunately, Memphis Grizzlies lose and the Mavs win. Find me if you want or not. Say in the comments if you agree with me or not, because that's a controversial take. The second thing is I think the Heat beat the Hawks. There's no reasoning to that. I think I just like the Heat better than the Atlanta Hawks. That's basically it for that game. So my Saturday predictions. I'm so excited for Saturday. So let's go from least exciting game to me to most exciting game. First game, Bucks versus the Pacers. I think the Bucks are gonna win. I think Bucks have more kind of seasoning in terms of being in the playoffs. I think they're just gonna take the first game. Nuggets beat Clippers. I also think the Nuggets gonna get that again. More seasoning in terms of playing in the playoffs as a team because the Clippers have people that have played in the playoffs a lot. Like they have Kawhi, they have Harden, but I just don't think they gel enough yet. And I think the Nuggets just gonna take that first game. Now we'll see because they do have that new coach, so we'll see how well that new coach does. So if they lose, I'm gonna blame the new coach. If the Nuggets lose this first game, I'm gonna blame the new coach. But I think overall the Nuggets are gonna beat the Clippers in the entire series. The Bucks and Pacers, I'm not too sure because Pacers really have some solid people on their team. The Bucks and Pacers is a little iffy, but Nuggets, I don't think it's a sweep, but I think they win. Pistons versus the Knicks. Now, okay, you don't know, now you know. I am from Jersey. I've been a Knicks fan all my life, right? It's a go Knicks go. I would like the Knicks to win the championship. How likely is it? I have no idea. In my mind, it's super likely. In my spirit, they're winning. But in reality, we know the Knicks. So we're not even gonna go there. But I think the Knicks get game 1. Now, are they gonna win the series? I think so, actually. Versus the Pistons, I think they're gonna win the series. They went pretty far last year, and so I think they're gonna beat the Pistons. But I think Knicks get game 1. Now, the game to talk about, the game that's gonna be really, really good, is the Timberwolves versus the Lakers, and they got that game so late. So that game is literally tomorrow at like 8:30, which is not too late, but like I like my sleep. That means that game's not gonna end until like 11. But the Timberwolves versus the Lakers is gonna be close. I see it overtime, honestly, but it's gonna be real close. And I have some rhyme or reasoning into why I think overall, I think the Lakers win. I have a stronger 60% over for 40%. I think the Lakers win. Now, I think the Lakers only win if the Mavs win and the Mavs get into the playoffs. Why? Because then they have something to fight for, especially Luka. I feel like, Luka, he a little butthurt, which he should be. Like, he got let go from the team he was a star player of. Like, even all the Mavs fans are butthurt for Luka. So, like, I think Luka got something to play for. Like, the Lakers won when they went to Dallas and they beat them on their home court after he cried, after they gave him a message. Like, I think that's going to give him something to play for. So, if the Mavs win tonight, Lakers for sure going to win tomorrow. If the Mavs lose tonight and it means they're out the playoffs, there's not as much fight that's needed. So I think maybe Luka, doesn't necessarily have to play as hard because he's like, the team that let me go, they lost. Look at them, losers. But I think, the Lakers could lose because of that. So if the Mavs lose, Lakers lose. If the Mavs win, Lakers win. You see the correlation, the connection. Yeah, if the Mavs lose, I think Luka's not gonna play as hard. And they could still pull out a win, but Timberwolves is them dudes is hungry. Them dudes is hungry, and I think they could win. So we shall see what happens tonight, and we shall see what happens tomorrow. I say tonight and tomorrow, but maybe this video comes out on Saturday. Hopefully not. Hopefully it comes out on Friday. It's short, so editing shouldn't take too long. Let me know you guys' predictions. Let me know what y'all think. And if my predictions was right, y'all owe me $5. Just saying. Okay. But yeah, this is a basketball recap. I will see y'all next week about the first round of playoff games, how those went, what y'all think, and we'll get to the next one. Catch y'all later.
Lakers in 5. 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 It don't matter.